podcast number or whatever this is. I don't know. It's been a while, girls. It's been a while. Yeah, I'm here with my podcasting co-hosts, Lindsay and Jill. Yeah, it has been a while. We did a live stream or something, but it's been a while since we just
did. It feels like it was like months ago that we live streamed.
It has been some time. So, welcome back.
Yay.
I can't believe it's almost the end of summer. It's almost like the official end of summer. You know, like the 21st.
Labor Day has happened. No more white pants.
I don't follow those rules.
Oh,
I don't own white pants anyway.
I do.
You do, and you do?
Yeah.
I'm just glad that Blavy's okay now.
What?
That Blavy's okay, black and navy, or is Blavy not okay anymore?
Oh no, I always wear that together.
Okay.
It's never not. I don't think it's ever not been okay. I also wear brown and black together.
Okay.
Clearly, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. I have never.
It has so much to do with knitting.
I don't have ever heard that term, Blavy.
I don't think I've heard Blavy either. I think I just know that.
I just coined it. Hashtag.
I think I'm just not that in the know about anything fashion related.
No, you were talking about time, and I was thinking, this is where my head went. It's been 3 projects since we did a podcast.
Right.
So I'm thinking in terms of projects.
Like things that you need to mention. I just almost lost my yarn.
Or like the last time we were doing it, I was knitting X, and since then I've knit X and Y and Z. And so that's how I kind of put space over time.
Have you finished your fade?
No, I have so many whips out there that it's
it's fine. I haven't either, so I don't really care that much. I was just curious.
I was curious too. I was going to ask.
Oh, sorry. I hijacked the podcast.
No, it's fine. Go ahead. We're winging it.
Kidding.
No, I had the fade going, and then the knit along for the Campside Cardi started.
Same.
And I didn't want to I wanted to do that with everyone. So I started knitting.
So did I, and then I got to the sleeves.
I love sleeves.
Hate sleeves.
My mittens don't have thumbs though. One of the projects I did my mittens still don't have thumbs.
Why?
Because it will require double points. I tried to do it on Magic Loop and I was not successful. And then we had another knit along start. So basically we just keep doing knit along. So I just keep casting on new projects. And so at one point in time, I'm just going to need to stop and finish everything I've started.
We could do another frog it or finish it.
Well,
I love that.
Yeah, and the other thing too is I have some holiday plans that will be small little Christmassy kinds of things. And so then if you do want to do that, they won't take very long. But if you choose not to do that, then you can finish up whatever piles are on your desk or your crafty table or whatever. What is up with the color? It looked ghastly. Why? Oh. Okay, that's somewhat better. I need to go to one of those tutorials about how to adjust lighting for Zoom calls, because clearly I'm not good at this. But right. So I think in terms of project time in terms of projects also. But I remember when you would just cringe at the notion of having more than one going at a time.
Or at the thought of making a sweater or socks. Or mittens, or cables,
or a 2,000-yard wrap.
Look at you! You have so much.
The evolution of Jill. Timeline.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's fantastic, though. Look how much you've grown in the last however long we've been doing this. I don't know.
Do you guys? When you look at a project that you've finished, does everything kind of come back to you as to what was happening around that project or in that project or through it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. What was going on in your life at the time that you knitted it?
Mm-hmm.
Or what Netflixes I was watching when I knitted.
That's what mine is. Mine is what was I watching a lot of the time. Last time I was knitting, I was watching such and such.
Or it depends what it is. Sometimes I'm just on autopilot and I don't remember anything at all about it. And I'm like, why don't you remember making that? because I was on autopilot most of the time. So depends.
Maybe now that it's getting cool out, I'll knit my sleeves. My last sleeves took me over a year.
Oh, the harvest, yeah. But you did the baby ones.
Yeah, those sleeves were like this long.
Did you finish the pinafore thing?
No. It's a size 12 month. We're not there yet.
Oh, okay. It's creeping up.
No pun intended. But
I really don't have that much left of it, so it would be like a day thing, but it's just not like interesting to me right now. Nor is it something that needs to be completed. Like, I have other things that I would like to get done first.
I have this problem where if I don't really want to knit what I'm supposed to be knitting, then I'll like cast on something else.
Right.
And then I'm like, I feel kind of like undisciplined or even a little bit naughty for doing that. But I can't help myself anyway.
Right.
Which is how the fading point started.
Oh, man.
So if you don't know what I'm talking about, Hoagie Locatelli, it's her pattern for the fading point. It's a big rectangular shaped wrap, but it's constructed with triangles, and you knit from each end out or in, I forget which. No, from each end in. And so you either need to have 2 sets of needles, or you put one on waste yarn and then you knit the triangles that go between, and I'm not sure how you put it all together. I haven't got that far. I just started it.
See, I don't know that I could do a project that you have to knit multiple pieces.
Oh, you could.
No, I'm capable. I am certain that I'm capable. I just don't have that kind of attention span.
Fair enough.
Like, I'm still on block 7.
And if you're not sure what she's talking about, it's block 7 of our long-term knit-along of Nora's Vintage Afghan, which is 20 blocks total. And I finished block 20's video this month, and we'll be assembling it next month at some point.
That's exciting.
Oh, so, yeah, actually, tomorrow, I'm going to take several of my blocks over to my mom's house, and we're going to
play with ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have many questions. She's going to have to help me sort this out. So, for example, if you have, each block you'll have like some of this left over, right? So you're going to have to think about, well, how much does it take to attach each block? And do I want a different color that goes with all the blocks that I have to make borders? And then you have the around the outside edge as well, or what? So the pattern asks you to sew the blocks together like with a whip stitch or a mattress stitch, but I don't really like that idea. So we're going to experiment with crocheting them together, just not even a single crochet. I think my mom was thinking just like a slip stitch thing. So I'm going to have her show me what she's thinking, and then I'll decide what makes the best sense.
On the wrong side or the right side?
I don't know. We're going to have to just mess with it.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I have all these leftovers of each block.
Right.
But then you'll have to decide, well, how do we put all that together? Or I also have full skeins left over. I bought an extra of each color.
Because that was smart.
I wasn't sure. Well, first I wasn't sure. I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy this all at once. And I wasn't sure if I would have enough yardage. Of course I did. But then I was like, well, what about the putting together of it?
Right.
So
that was really smart.
Well, I don't know if it was or not. I probably should have bought enough skeins of either a black or something that kind of goes with all of them, because now I don't know what I'm going to do. Unless one 200-yard skein is going to be enough to attach everything plus do the border. I don't know. I'm going to have to like measure how many grams does it take to attach 2 of them together, and then I'm not sure. We'll have to do some math. I don't know. Anyway, so I was telling viewers at the last Block 20 video, do not expect that the first Tuesday of October, because it'll be right after our virtual retreat. And yeah, not going to happen. Later in the month, I'll see you for assembly. And there's plenty of people that need to catch up a little anyway. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
So you're still on block 7.
It might be 8.
But a lot of people are still back in, 11, 12, whatever, and it doesn't matter. The videos will be there.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, like, my attention span is short.
Yeah. It's okay. That's probably why I have a ridiculous number of whips, because clearly mine is also.
Right.
Oh gosh, it just makes me, anyway.
See, and it doesn't make me anxious.
Oh, it makes me so anxious. I do not like it. But I also decided that this year for Christmas, I was not going to be crazy at the end. So I kind of thought, okay, with the slipper knit along, I was going to start, and then I'm just going to do it all the way through. And then Christmas Day, from then on, that's going to be me.
Yay.
So are you knitting a bunch of slippers for people for Christmas?
I have, well, I was going to do the slippers for Christmas, and then I realized that it'll probably go to my son's birthday because he already has holes in his existing ones, and it would make more sense to give it to him prior since his feet will be cold.
Right. And he may have grown out of his previous pair.
Oh, so, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, after these, I'll probably, we'll have the retreat, and then I'll have to do the thumbs. Because
you'll be casting on the retreat shawl.
Yeah.
You need my tiny double pointed, like my short double points. I feel like that'd be so much easier than trying to maneuver the 6-inch ones.
Or the flexi flips.
Ooh, don't get those. I don't think you'd like those. Do you like those?
Well, she might like them, and she'd have to try
I don't think she would.
It might
I
be
can't
one of
tell
those
what
things
to
where
do.
you have to try it for yourself. So,
Yeah, there they are.
Oh, they're
oh,
pretty.
you could bust those out.
And
Yeah.
all their cute little glory with the little matching headband, which I've shown before.
Oh, right. For your
So that'll be for my mom for Christmas. So I just have that little bit left to go.
nice.
Yep. Tin Can Knits.
Yep.
World's simplest mitten.
And we have a
See,
tutorial.
there's a knit along.
Yep. We have a tutorial for that on the channel.
Yep.
So here's my question for you. I know you're either doing it or have done clogs in the past. Are you going to decorate? Are you going to decorate yours after they're felted? Yay!
No. I love your two-tone green.
That's
It looks
cool.
like camo.
It doesn't. I mean, it does in this picture a little bit, but
No, I don't think so. It looks really good.
Good joke.
Hold it up
for
more.
the slippers, the camo.
Yeah. I think
I love the two-tone.
yeah, it's cool.
Two-tone is my new favorite.
I like how your soles are coming out. What you're doing on your I see.
Oh, that's cool. So you knit the bumper in the same color as the cuff.
Yeah, so that they matched a little bit. That was Hayden's
But you
idea.
knit the sole in a different color than the bumper and the cuff.
Yeah, so
Cute.
the sole, because I didn't want the sole to be white because I felt like that'd get dirty.
Yeah.
But I liked the white in contrast, and then I ran out of gray.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I've done that where I've knitted the inner sole with one kind and the outer sole with a different one, just because it's.
See, in hindsight, I would have knit the inner sole with the white and the light gray, and I guess I could take them out and redo them, but I'm probably not going to do that. Because they're going to be fine once they're felted.
Sure.
So.
But you're not going to decorate yours?
No.
So these are for my son, but mine also have a hole in them.
Of course
So
they do.
I
I've
will.
gone through 4 pair of slippers in the time that I've had one.
I live in them.
I know I'm kind of wishing I had mine on right now.
I know my feet are a little bit cold, but now when I wear them, my toe is really cold because.
So are you making?
Or it pokes
there?
through the bottom. So what are you going to do about the hole? Are you going to mend it, or are you going to just knit another pair?
The fabric is kind of coming apart. It's really compressed and coming apart. So I will knit another pair.
So are you wanting to decorate that pair? Your pair?
I may. I don't know. I'd never really even thought about it before.
So what do you do with the ones that you've worn out? I mean, do you just chuck them in the dumpster? Or what do you do with the ones you've worn out?
I couldn't stand to throw the first pair away because I knit them, so they sat in my closet. And then finally I thought that's ridiculous, so then they went away.
You know what I want to do?
What?
Okay, here's my latest idea. So around our yard, particularly in the side and the back, we have this big cedar fence. And so what I want to do is, I don't have one that's already been felted, but I'll just use this. So pretend this is felted and done.
I love that color.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah,
I love it so much.
Pretty. I want slippers that color.
So this is brown sheep, lamb's pride worsted. This color is Persian peacock. And then the gray is, I think it's just called a gray heather. But okay, so let's pretend there's a hole. So, but you'd only have a hole probably. So what I want to do is, here's what I was thinking about. You know how you buy those hanging baskets and they have all that mossy stuff that retains the water?
Oh, yeah.
So what I would do is take the clog, nail it to the fence, and then plant stuff in it because the wool would absorb the water, wouldn't it?
That's a cool idea.
I mean, why not just staple the sucker up to the fence? Because couldn't you plant strawberries and stuff in it? Because wouldn't the wool help the plant retain water?
That's a cute
and
idea.
Then you have this like boho hippie thing going on in your garden. Like I like put all kinds of crazy stuff on my fence.
Would be cool.
I don't know. I just think, well, why not just stick it up on the fence and then put your dirt and stuff and then have like stuff growing out of it. Like, right?
I never thought about it being reusable. The guinea pigs would but they might eat it.
Yeah. I'm going to put it up on my fence, the old ones. Yeah. I thought about doing that with some old leather boots too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But wool would suck up the water. And where we live, it's really dry. And, I just think that might be, yeah. You could put like the flowers that like dribble down and cascade out of your slipper. If I do that next summer, I'll show you.
Yeah.
I've just thought, then it would, I don't know. It might just carry on being useful.
I loved the slipper tutorials version 2.0. I really, really did. They look so much better. Just the how you had us flip the switches.
Oh, cross to join, just cross them. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, just not that high tech for any of it, really. I mean, just like tie stuff together.
Yeah, but it looks so much nicer. And then how you had us join the two yarns together. I had never done that before either, and it just looks so much nicer.
I think I learned that from my mom because that's how she does things. Like if she's doing, she used to make these big, heavy, like sweater coat kind of things, like really, like out of bulky hand spun. And so she would be doing color work, and that's the way she would join in another color, like on the side seam or whatever of these like giant sweater coat things, Yeah.
I feel like for the first time, and maybe if I would have watched the original videos as many times as Jill did, I would have known to do this better. But I didn't have to reorient my stitches when I joined my heel, my second second heel.
Yeah, right. Where you go up from the top to the bottom and pick stuff up.
I always just kind of like pick them up
and wing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fine. You can totally do that as long as you
can.
But
it was nice to not have to be like, like reorient the whole time.
Yeah. Good.
And with the new YouTube videos, how they're up into segments. So when I went back to look at the segment again to figure out which ones to pick up, it was nice just to be able to move to that chunk.
Yeah,
in the video.
that is nice.
Oh, you mean the chapters? That's okay. Now, see, I can't. Technically, I'm not supposed to watch my own videos in the same way that you would see them because then it counts as a view. And I mean, I'm the one that made it, and you can't, like, YouTube doesn't want you to elevate your own views, right? Understandably. So I don't get to see that. I don't get to see the chapter segments from the edit portal, like where I go to edit a video, or I don't get to see that. So I wasn't entirely sure that feature was even working properly.
Yeah,
it's really nice.
Fantastic.
I like it a lot.
So it helps when I go in and do the timestamps.
Yeah, especially for someone who's a rewatcher.
Right. You can just skip ahead. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. good to know. So viewers, if you're not sure what we're talking about, YouTube has a new feature where if you kind of hover along the time bar at the bottom of the video, you can see where it's broken into chapters or segments, and you can click ahead to what you want without having to guess where the next topic is. Right. Because there's timestamps in the description, and then the timestamps make that happen on the video itself when it's processed, when I upload. And anyway, like, I don't get how the back end of all that works, but I know what I have to do on my end to make it work. So I just wasn't sure that it was functioning properly.
Yeah.
I should make Will watch it and tell the next one. I'll make Mr. Pearl check it out for me. Anyway, so that's been fun. I'm going to knit probably a couple more pair. My daughter has claimed this one, and then I'm bummed. I thought I have another skein of this color, and I have to tell you, I was playing yarn chicken. I was playing yarn chicken a little bit with the Persian peacock. Once I finished the second one with the upper, I literally had about 3 feet left.
You should see the pictures I sent Jill when I was making my soles. So I was making my second soles, and I thought I had more of the light gray at home, but I had the dark gray. And so I was like I'd done the first, second sole, and I was like, I don't have very much yarn left. And I've already knit like 3 soles. And so I undid the ball of yarn that I had to get to the end of it, because I was knitting like from the outside. So I undid it to get to the end and just like set it there. And I went to the other end of the light gray, which I didn't undo because I had more of it. And while it was still, my one was on the needles, I took another pair of needles and knit a second one to see if I could make it.
Oh.
And then I got pretty close, and I was like, I still don't have enough. So I like took it all out, one of them all out, and recast it on. So my cast on was just the light gray. And then I had enough dark gray to get to the end. It was like loaves and fishes miracle getting enough yarn.
Text was so funny. It's about the knitting faster.
Right, I was like, maybe if I knit faster, I'll have more, like, I'll have enough yarn. But, like, okay, at this point, I needed to do 3 more rows of my second sole. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And, like, I sent Jill this picture, and I was like, this is how much of the dark gray I have left. And I have 1 row of the first sole and a whole nother sole to do. And I texted her and I was like, I'm thinking, I keep starting to like knit faster, thinking like maybe I won't run out if I knit it faster. I had like this much
left
dark
over
gray left at the end. Like it's maybe 8 inches.
That's so funny. Well, and the thing is the pattern clearly says you're going to need 1/3 for the upper and 2/3 for the soles. And so if I look at that for this size, this is the women's size large, so that's 580. So if you do the math, 1/3 of 580 is like 190 some odd something.
180.
Well, yeah, whatever that is, 180, something like that. But the thing is the Lamb's Pride worsted, it clearly says it's, let's see, 190 yards per skein. So I had like 1 yard left.
Well,
so it was accurate, and I was checking my gauge. I was to gauge, and it was accurate. I mean, it was
exactly
right on.
What I was doing with my grays. Like so I got the light gray from Jill, thinking that that's what I had at home.
Yeah.
And because in my mind, Jill was the only place I could get wool from. Like I texted her and I was like, do you have any wool? And then I'm like, I guess I could order it. I don't know why that didn't cross my mind. In my mind, I could only buy it from Jill. And so I get home and I'm like, crap, my other skeins are dark. And there was a lot less than I thought I had. Yeah. And so I like weighed the 2 skeins and did the math.
Right.
to see what I had. And I like had enough to do one slipper. And so that's where I came up with the idea of I'll do the marled
Yeah.
and use the dark gray and the light gray together, which I ended up.
Yeah.
See, I would have never guessed that was the light gray that you put, the light green that you put with that. It looks so different when it's doubled.
Isn't that interesting? And I've done that many times when I've used up stash stuff and I've put two colors together and it makes this, sometimes it pools in a different way.
Yeah. That light green, because I've seen you knit slippers out of the light green held double, but it looks like a totally different color with the dark green.
Yeah. Isn't it funny?
So I have one
influences
of the dark green, which when I ordered them, it was for my sister-in-law who has very tiny feet. And I knew that one skein would do it. Well, I ended up doing hers out of this, and my son's feet are not tiny, and I knew it wasn't going to do that. And I didn't want to do two pairs. I'm quite sure there'd be enough. So
that's
I really like them together.
And it's fun to just experiment with stuff like you've done, Lindsay, like where you're doing the different colored cuff and the bumper and just mix and match. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm totally going to decorate mine. But what I was going to say was this is for my daughter. And I thought I had another skein of the Persian peacock. And I might have another skein of this, but I do not have more of the lighter gray. I have darker gray. Well, I'm like, oh, but I don't know.
I use a dark gray and a light gray. Actually, it's like the magic cabinet back here.
It's this light gray.
Yep, it's that light gray. I use.
Oh yeah, for like everything, right?
Yeah, and I love them together.
Yep, that is great.
Yeah, that would be pretty for everything. So then I always have bits and bobs left over.
Yeah.
So I know that I will always have some, or usually have some type of sole, and you can use the leftover bits then too. And
I one time made a scrappy pair for myself, and I had little bits like, like 30 yards of this and 20 yards of that, and I just wing it, and it was crazy fun.
Yeah. Franken clogs.
They were Franken felted clogs. Franken clogs.
I'm trying to keep my balls in the same. I'm trying to keep my balls separated so that I have same time.
I'm sorry. He laughed so hard from the other room.
Oh, there's so much to say about that.
We're not live.
Me too, Joe.
My clogs.
There's so much to say about ball separation.
What I meant to say was I have them. I can't even hold them like that anymore. People making me feel dirty over here. The point being that then the Franken clogs would match. Meaning, if I have leftover bits and I have the same leftover bits, but I have two piles of leftover bits, knit them, and then my Franken clogs would match each other.
And see, I don't even know that I care if they match. I don't know if they care I match. I don't know if I care that they match because, okay, for example, I'm about
to care that they match.
What?
Jill would care that they match.
She might not.
Look at her. She would care.
Well, she might get to the point where she doesn't. She has evolved a great deal.
I don't think she's going to get to that point.
Okay, let me show you. Okay, so I've shown this on the podcast before. These. Yeah. The sock kit. So kind of what I want to do is knit one this way and knit the other one the other way. So they're fraternal twins.
Why?
Because it's cool.
They want to be together.
They do. I think they want to match.
They want to be together. It makes them feel more comfortable.
Oh, does it, Jill? Makes the socks happier.
They get a certain level of anxiety if one's like this way and the other one's that way, and then your feet feel fun.
They're individuals that complement each other.
They are.
Well, probably what will happen is the daughter will decide. Because they're not for me. But I'm okay with things that don't match.
Oh, I am mostly.
You're okay wearing socks that don't match? We talked about that once.
Yeah, but not that people would see. Not socks that are that tall.
Well, I guess it depends how big your feet are.
What are you wearing with it?
Yeah, what
I'm not like wearing a skirt and
If you have the tall socks, then you have to.
Speaking of tall socks, I'm trying relentlessly to get through enough ribbing to start to knit plain stockinette stitch for this sock for my mom.
So what is that, Plymouth Happy Feet? Speckle?
It is Plymouth Happy Feet Splash.
Okay.
It is remnants from a pair of socks that I made and remnants from my fade.
Nice.
Spice. So I have two small. Well, I have one this one's pretty big.
Yeah.
The other one's a little smaller.
So speaking of which, well, I got to ask you this real quick. You mentioned, did you finish your fade?
No.
She's on section 12, 13.
I'm on the last section of lace before you do the next section, the last section.
Okay.
12, because I'm on 11.
It's right here.
Oh my gosh, you guys are so close. You're so close.
Oh.
That's lovely. You're so close to being done. I have a whole nother one planned. I love that yarn. I picked out yarn from my stash the same day that we picked out the fading point yarn from the stash. My daughter and I started thrashing through the stash bins. We picked out another pile for my next fade too. I love that pattern.
Yeah, I do too. My attention span.
I stayed up late last night to knit because I haven't knit for a while, and I stayed up way too late. It was still nice. It was really, really, really nice.
Oh, speaking of staying up late and knitting because you're watching a show, I have to say, one of our patrons, it was Lynn from Minnesota. She found this show on Netflix, and we've been watching it as a family, and I really, really like it. So it's not like, anything really super like suspenseful or dramatic or anything. It's just a really neat show. It's called The Repair Shop, and it's British. And so all the good shows come from the BBC or PBS or whatever, Masterpiece Theater. Anyhow, The Repair Shop, it's on Netflix, and it's about this repair shop where they specialize in restoring like family heirlooms and family things. So like one of the very first episodes, this woman brings in this violin, and this violin has literally been through hell. This violin was in the concentration camps in World War II. And I think it was her grandmother survived and played this violin in the concentration camps. And at one point, there was a piece of the violin that had to be repaired in the camp. And so they were going to leave that patch, obviously, because it's part of the history. But the fretboard was still, where you could like see the indentions of people's fingers over the last 100 years, And then this woman that brought it in, her father had played it as well. But it had fallen into disrepair, and it's very old, and, all these things. And so there was usually 3 or 4 items that they're talking about with every episode, but it was just fantastic how this guy went and how he restored this. And then people bring in like old, furniture that has to be restored, or like a family heirloom clock, like a mantle clock, or, it's just amazing the stories behind things and, people's memories, and then what they have to go through to like restore this stuff. Like this one woman brought in this Japanese ceramic plate, and it had broken, but not all the pieces were there. And this professional ceramicist, she restored it, even matched the painting, and it was amazing what she was able to do. Anyway, it's just neat. People bring in this, people in their 70s and 80s are bringing in childhood items that they remember. Like this woman brings in this stuffed animal that her father had given her, and then her father died when she was like 9. And they restore this teddy bear. Well, it's a panda, I think. But anyway, the point is they restore it to how it was, but they don't take away its character. Like they didn't redo all the fabric. The fabric is still the same as it was, and it has her loveys and its little bald spots, but they reinforced it and they lined it on the inside so it's more durable now. You see what I mean?
Cool.
Yeah. It's just amazing what they're able to do. Who's that?
This was made by my husband's grandmother, and it was from Mr. Popper's Penguins.
Aww.
Wow.
And so when his parents had passed away, this came to be in our possession. And he's, he's a little bit,
He's been loved.
He's been loved, and we're just very delicate with him. And he sits, you were talking about that, and that's this exact kind of thing. Yes. He sits on my knitting shelf in the back. He's got yeah. So made me think of that.
And what's his name?
I don't know. He doesn't have a name.
What?
I know.
See, I'm not a namer either.
My husband probably knows.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know.
We were never namers. Like my toys and like baby dolls and stuffed animals, none of them had names.
Oh, my kids name everything.
And if they had a name, like that might have been its name for like a day.
Yeah.
And then it would have changed. Like we just weren't big namers.
We had.
Yeah. The only thing that's ever gotten a name is my brother called his blanket, and we still call it this. I mean, he doesn't really use it anymore. Blue. And you know why it was called Blue? Because it was blue.
They are named about attributes. My son had pink kitty and black kitty.
Oh, and pink pillow.
Baby. The blanket was named Baby, and then I was so afraid we were going to leave it somewhere that the lady that knit it for us made another one, and then we had Old Baby and New Baby. They're still in his closet.
Yeah, my brother has Blue.
Yeah.
For a while we called him. We call the blanket. We refer to the blanket as a him. We called it Blue Blanket, and then that got shortened to Blue Blankie.
Right.
And then it became Blue.
Right. I want to have a little show and tell with slipper embellishments on the Ravelry group and the Facebook group. I want to see how other people maybe choose to decorate their stuff. I think that's a lot of fun. I want to decorate mine. But these aren't the ones I'm knitting, these are the ones for my mom. Like, I don't know if she wants decorations or not.
I mean,
I don't know.
Why not?
I'll have to ask her when I see her tomorrow and we go over the Afghan issue. I'll have to ask her. Yeah. And then my daughter can decorate her own. And then I need another pair for myself.
Yep.
Oh, and one thing I wanted to say, my husband has a pair that, and they do kind of stretch out over time. So at least mine have, you schlep around the house for a while and they do tend to stretch out a little bit. And when that happens, I just throw them back in the wash with a load of towels. And I don't put them in the dryer, but the hot water and the agitation just kind of refelts them, and they do shrink back down a little bit in the warm water. And then I just stuff paper towels in there and I let them dry. And if I need to stretch them a little bit to my feet after they come out of that wash, then that's fine. But that's what I do. When they start to stretch out a little bit, I just chuck them in with a load of towels.
That's so funny because the first pair I made my mom, one day Jill was over there, we were somewhere, and my mom and Jill and me were all together. And my mom was like, "Oh, I washed my slippers." I was like, because I'm pretty sure she dried them.
Oh.
But we were like, yeah. And I was like, but they still fit fine.
Okay. I don't know that I would suggest that.
Oh, absolutely. I would not suggest it. No.
Oh.
One of my favorite parts is when they're pretty much dry, but not all the way dry, because I stuff mine just with plastic bags and sit them by the register or whatever to dry, just to kind of form them or whatever, and stuff around the house. I'll pull it and I'll wrap my feet so they don't get wet, but then you put them on so that they form right to your feet when they're finishing drying.
They will form to your feet right away, and then when
within one wear, I know which one is left and which one's right.
Oh, of course. After the first couple of days, you'll be like, "Oh no, switch." Yeah, they'll form to your feet. You'll know what's what. Yeah, yes. No worries there. So I'm excited. I'm excited to I'm like analysis paralysis with the decorating thing, but it's going to be fun to see what other people do. So.
Well, now I want to stay up tonight so I can finish this one.
I might. It's earlier here for you, but I have to get up super early, so maybe not. But thank you for joining me again. We have to do this a little more often.
Bye.